Welcome back to Vuln Vibes for another deep dive. Today we're jumping right into a critical XML External Entity vulnerability that's CVE 2025-2905, found in WSO2 API Manager, specifically impacting versions 2.0 row and earlier. Now, we know you're seasoned pros, so we're skipping the XXE 101. Let's get straight into what this finding really tells us.
Exactly. It's less about the XXE itself, which is, well understood, and more about the circumstances here, the specifics, and especially the remediation story are quite something.
All right, let's unpack it then. XXE and the gateway component, and the root cause is insufficient validation of XML input coming through URL paths.
That's the core of it, yeah. Basically, the system wasn't properly checking or restricting the XML it was asked to parse via the URL. This allows an attacker to craft malicious XML, effectively tricking the parser into interacting with local server resources.
Okay, interaction with local resources. So what are the big consequences we're looking at if someone exploits this successfully?
Two main things stand out: arbitrary file access and denial of service.
Right. Let's focus on that file access first. I saw the impact differs based on the Java version running.
Precisely. If you're running older JDK 7 or early JDK 8 versions, an exploit could potentially read out entire files,
Yeah.
full contents. But interestingly, on later JDK 8 builds and anything newer, the impact is limited. It only allows access to the first line of a file.
Okay, only the first line. But even that, I mean, depending on the file, that first line could still leak configuration details, maybe usernames, initial log data. Still risky, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
You never want to give away even that first line
Yeah.
if you can help it. It can definitely be useful for reconnaissance or further attacks.
Yeah.
And the DOS side, that's, well, more straightforward.
Yeah, classic resource exhaustion.
Exactly. Throwing specially crafted, resource-hungry XML payloads at the server to just overwhelm it and take the service offline. That works across all affected versions.
So the crucial part then, remediation. How do people fix this? Is there a new patch out for CVE 2025-2905?
Well, this is the really fascinating twist. No, WSO2 isn't releasing a new specific patch for this CVE
No patch. For a 9.1 CVSS score, how does that work?
because, get this, the vulnerability was actually already fixed back in 2016.
2016. Wait, you mean with that old advisory WSO2 2016-0151? Wasn't that for cross-site scripting?
That's the one. It was primarily targeting an XSS vulnerability.
Yeah.
But the fix they implemented back then inadvertently included the necessary input validation improvements that also shut down this XXE pathway.
Wow. So if an organization is vulnerable to this 2025 CVE today, it means they haven't applied a critical security update from, what, 8 years ago?
Pretty much, yeah. It really shines a light on the whole patch management challenge, doesn't it? These systems have been potentially exposed for years despite a fix being available.
It really was. What does this sort of accidental fix tell us about how we track vulns or communicate patches?
Well, a couple of things, I think. First, it just hammers home how persistent unpatched systems are as an attack vector. That long tail is real. Second, maybe we don't always grasp the full scope of what a patch does. A fix for issue A might quietly solve issue B, but if that's not clearly communicated or understood.
Yeah, the interconnectedness. A fix for XSS resolves an XXE down the line makes you wonder how often that might happen without anyone realizing it at the time.
Exactly. It suggests maybe that focusing too narrowly on just the CVE description might miss the bigger picture of what a security update actually secures. A more holistic view of patching seems essential.
Absolutely. And of course, we should give credit where it's due to the researcher, Krinkovich. They responsibly disclosed this, bringing it to WSO2's attention, even though technically a fix was out there.
Definitely. It shows the value of continuous research, even on software that might seem older or assumed to be patched. You never know what might be found, or in this case, rediscovered.
So, the clear takeaway for you listening: check your WSO2 API Manager instances. Seriously. You need to verify that the patch related to WSO2 2016-0151 was applied. This isn't just about this new CVE number. It's about closing a security hole that's been fixable for nearly a decade.
Right. Think of it less as reacting to CVE 2025-2905 and more as confirming your baseline security posture from years ago. It's a really potent case study in why diligent, consistent patching is so fundamental. And maybe it prompts a deeper thought. How well do we truly understand the full impact, intended or not, of the security updates we apply?
Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for breaking down this very unusual vulnerability lifecycle.
My pleasure. Always interesting when security history loops back like this.